I have figured out how to create reality, and it's something I want to share with people, but it is difficult for me to share because of the way that people think. The language that we speak with makes it difficult to explain it. Because when I say the word create, what we think in our mind is that I'm doing something to get a result. So I do this, there's a cause, and then there's an effect. But it's not like that. I know that people can create reality by doing that, but it's much more difficult. This is a different process that isn't seen as a cause and effect, that can't really be understood when you're thinking of cause and effect. For instance, say if I wanted a personal robot, I could go out and I could get the parts, I could order the parts for the robot, and I could build the robot. This is how we think of our reality operating. But what I'm speaking about is I want a personal robot, and then the robot comes to me. And a lot of times people will refer to this as manifesting. But again, the word manifest, the way it's used with most people is like they're doing something to get a result. And again, that is not how it works. The way I would describe it is that you become a magnet or a vacuum to allow something to fill a space. So really what I'm telling you how to do, and again, even saying those words, how to do, is kind of the opposite of what I'm trying to explain, but I'm going to explain how to become a vacuum or a magnet. And the only way I can do that is with examples. I've said that curiosity and wonder is kind of like a vacuum or a magnet. Oh man, there's a bunch of bison coming up behind me. Do you see that out my car window? I had to hurry up and roll up my car windows. Oh shit, here comes more. I think I need to move. So I just moved like a third of a mile down the street to where I eat, and I passed a wolf on the way here. So the best thing I can do is give you examples of how this is working so that you can see. What I realized is that everything around me in my environment and on my phone is showing me clues to the future, but I can direct it. So, for example, I kept seeing a bunch of things about a spider web, a spider and a spider web. And I made a video on that. That is video -8, episode -8. Okay. And in that video, I talked about this spider people that make all these connections between things. And I told you in the video that this is what you would be doing, or this was what this person would be doing. And then as I continued on, this was like 6 months ago, I made this video. I realized that I was the spider because I was seeing all these connections between people and events and stories and movies and clips on my phone, and started making stories that all intertwine with each other. Originally, I saw the spider and the spider web. And what I wondered was, who is this? And what does the web mean? What is the connections? Then I started seeing that I was the spider, and here are the connections. And as I do this, there's more epiphanies in my brain, which is forming more neural connections in my brain. But here's an even more obvious example. I was in the process of making like 71 videos, stories like the ones I've been making. And I had been making one of the videos for about 2 months. And the video was about someone going to live in a hotel, a dorm, or a castle, basically a big building with a lot of people. Then there was all these stories about the events that would take place while they were there. Well, in April, I got a job offer to go live at Yellowstone, and now I'm living in a dorm with a bunch of people. Also, in video -11, I had said that I went to the top of this mountain. I had traveled to the top of this mountain after being in the basement. We won't go into the basement details, but I'm at the top of a mountain. And when I see these things, like these little symbols, these clues around me, I don't decide this is what that means necessarily. What I do is I wonder what it means. But the way I wonder is not suspicion or being scared, like a fearful suspicion or a fearful wonder. It is a more of an excitement, like adventurous type of wonder. And as I do that, and as I tell others that this is how it's going to be by using my voice, it happens in my life. And I'm not making it happen. Though I take action, I don't just sit around all day. But it's like the opportunities and things are coming to me. And I make the vacuum or the magnet from the wonder of how the symbol is going to show me what it is, like reveal itself to me. But the way you wonder is very important to what you want to experience, because if you wonder with fear, you bring in that. If you wonder with love, excitement, openness, you bring in that. Either way, how you wonder, the thing brought in will match the symbol. Unless you dismiss it all as bullshit because you don't want to, and you want to deny it and you would just rather not be aware, you can do that too. But this way seems to be much more exciting for me. And the reason why is because anything is possible. So when I make these videos about time travel, teleportation, and all this stuff, what happens is first these things like teleportation, for instance, is a symbol. And so what happens is it almost like a spiral, right, rotating around this symbol, is that events will happen that teleportation could represent, like getting into a door that you thought was locked forever, or a wall crumbling that you thought would never crumble. Those are just examples. But as the spiral continues, it eventually will get to actual teleportation. Same with the time travel. Same with flying. Same with being able to move super fast, like I said in my one video. One more thing. The things that I say with confidence that will happen to another individual, to you in this video, happen to me in some way, because the things I say are symbolic of the experience. And this makes me realize the connection between me and everyone else, and also the importance of loving your enemy and not wishing harm on other people. So keep that in mind. My videos can be used for you as symbols, for you to bounce off of, basically, for you to wonder off of and bring things into your life. But again, it's more an invitation, a magnet, a vacuum that you become.